A very good afternoon. Welcome to LFS this Easter Sunday for our final FA Cup quarter-final tie and an all-Premier League battle between West Ham United and Leeds United at the London Stadium to conclude this round of matches in the FA Cup. 3 quarter-finals for you yesterday and some exciting results out of those games. Manchester City 4-0 thrashing over Liverpool. Sent them back to Wembley. Chelsea also heading back to Wembley with a big home win and a clean sheet. 7-0 winners against League One's bottom side, Port Vale. Give it a good go, but ultimately outclassed by the Blues. And the big shock of the round, Arsenal are out at the hands of Championship side Southampton, who gave Arsenal a real tough night at St Mary's last night. We watched that live. So the Saints are through and they're marching on to Wembley, as are City and our Chelsea. But who will join them, West Ham or Leeds, in the semi-finals? We'll find out this afternoon. Kickoff is in a few minutes' time from the London Stadium on this beautiful Easter Sunday afternoon in East London. The two sides, well, it's been a long time since they've been anywhere near an FA Cup final, and they would be, if they win today, one step away from the showpiece event. 20 years for West Ham since they were in an FA Cup final. 39 for Leeds. So a long time in the waiting for these two. And Wembley awaits the winner in the semi-finals. Who they will face, we'll find out after the final whistle of this game. But whoever they will get, they won't care. All they want is a place at Wembley. And that is what they hope they will get. West Ham against Leeds to conclude the quarterfinals of this season's FA Cup after what's been a fantastic weekend to this point. And we cannot wait to conclude it here with you on this Easter Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much for spending your Easter Sunday with us, whether you celebrate or not. Thank you very much for joining us. You're all welcome on this beautiful Sunday afternoon and what has been a busy weekend of FA Cup action. Thank you very much for joining us. Andy in the chat says, my money's on Leeds. Get your comments in the chat. Who you think's going to win? What you think the score is going to be? Will it go to extra time or penalties? We'll find out. But first, the all-important team news. And let's start with the home side, West Ham United, who have got worries of their own when it comes to relegation. West Ham and Leeds both in those battles in the league. But they can put that aside till next week. Alphonse Areola starts in goal for the Hammers. A back four of Walker-Peters, Disasi, Kilman and Diouf. A midfield of Magassa and Potts with Matej Fernandez in the 10. And the wingers of Adama Traore and captain Jared Bowen with Tati Castellanos leading the West Ham line. On the bench for the home side, Scarles, Soucek, Conte, Felipe Ajala, Myers, Herrick, Lamadrid and Golombekis. Nuno Espirito Santo looking to get to that Wembley semi-final with the Hammers. But as are Leeds and Daniel Farker. They start with Lucas Perry in goal. A back 5 or back 3 of Jayden Bogle. And then James Justin as the wing-backs. Rudon, Stroik and Biol are the centre-backs. Ethan Ampadu, the captain, is in midfield alongside Ayo Tanaka and Anton Stack. And a front 2 of Noah Okafor and Lucas Mecha. On the bench for Leeds this afternoon, Bornau, Longstaff, Peru, Nonto, Calvert-Lewin, Byram, Darlow, Gruev and Aronson. A strong bench from Leeds if they're in need of some helping hands. Leeds laying a wreath at the end of which their fans are due to the passing of 2 of their fans as it recently, and it's nice to see the whole squad led by Ethan Ampadu, the whole starting 11 led by their captain, to remember those who were lost. We're almost ready to go. Another huge quarter-final. 2 Premier League sides fighting for one place that's left at Wembley. Who will get it? Will it be the Hammers? Or will it be the Whites of Leeds, who are not actually wearing white today? But Kickoff at the London Stadium on this Easter Sunday is next. A very good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this Sunday afternoon in what is a conclusion to what has been a dramatic FA Cup quarter-finals. Two expectant results probably in the City and Chelsea games, albeit the domination of their victories was a little bit unexpected. But Southampton's shock result against Arsenal, a rested Arsenal team, a second string Arsenal team at times with a couple of their players, and we've seen the discourse since. And now, a few weeks ago, Arsenal were in a quadruple run. Now only 2 trophies left to play for, but 2 of the main ones, certainly the Champions League and Premier League. But no Wembley for the Gunners, but will the Hammers or Leeds be taking a spot? Danny Dyer in the stands, forever blowing bubbles. They'll be hoping they'll be blowing bubbles all the way to Wembley, just across this capital city. In a few weeks' time, 3 weeks until the FA Cup semi-finals. Will it be the Clarets or the Whites? The claret and blue of West Ham, or the white of Leeds United, under the Wembley arch. We get underway at the London Stadium for this one. West Ham in their home strip, claret shirts, white shorts, of course blue trimming, and Leeds in their all blue away strip with the yellow trimmings in theirs. And that's what gets us going this afternoon. A weekend that's been jam-packed full of goals in the FA Cup quarter-finals. Let's hope for more here today. 2 well-matched Premier League sides. There's a bit of early defending for Kyle Walker-Peters to do against Noah Okafor. And that will be a Leeds throw down the left. And of course, we know what position these two sit when it comes to the Premier League. West Ham in the bottom 3, only by a point. And Leeds just a few outside the bottom 3, 4 clear of the Hammers, who are in 18th. But as I said, they can leave the league exploits the next weekend. Ampadu with a long throw here. Bobbles around as Struck trying to keep it alive. Okafor trying to grasp at it. He does, and he strikes wide. I think it took a deflection off Alphonse Areola, who made the save, but no, Okafor with a key chance there. It's from the Ampadu long throw. Headed down. Bounces around the edge of the West Ham box, and as Castellanos tries to edge Okafor out of the way, the ball just drops into the path of the Leeds man, and he takes it in his stride. Struck it well with the right foot, and just a clip off the fingertips of Areola carries it wide for the corner. Hooked in, bounces down again. West Ham can't clear it as it loops up and into the hands of Areola. 2 early set pieces have caused West Ham 1 or 2 problems right from the off. Unable to get going here so far, the home side under early pressure as Freddie Potts put that one out of play under very little pressure. Of course, these two well accustomed with each other this season. They've played each other once. They will play each other again in the Premier League this season, here at the London Stadium at the start of May. And they played, of course, already in the Premier League at Elland Road all the way back at late October. Leeds won 2-1 on that day. Brandon Aronson and Joe Rodon with the 2 goals to give Leeds a 2-goal advantage before Matej Fernandez's late consolation. Ultimately, nothing out of that for West Ham, albeit they did win their last meeting with Leeds here at the London Stadium. 3-1 victory back in 2023. Declan Rice scored that day. Long throw from Leeds on the right hand side, who started almost exclusively at this end of the field. Headed away well, and the clip by Stack couldn't carry it forward, and West Ham just clearing their lines a lot at the minute, unable to get out. All the way back here with Jakobiol for Leeds. Tim Pascal Stroik down the left side for Justin, who tries to find Okafor, a bit blind there. Nicely cut out by Disasi. Back to Kilman it comes, who feeds back to Alphonse Areola for West Ham to get some of the ball here. Areola goes long and just hampers possession back to Leeds. I do expect a closely fought battle between these two today. As I said, as the league is shaken out, they're not too separate, these two teams, in terms of their overall qualities, but one thing about them, both of these sides, I think the similarity I would say between West Ham and Leeds is the fact that they can show up. They're a team that can show up out of nowhere, really, and put four past you from nowhere. They've got that quality in them. Now, we haven't really seen that from either of them in the Premier League consistently this season, but they do have that odd result in them. And all it takes is for them to show up today, and they can prove that. But they're weird teams, these two. They're just so inconsistent. They just aren't able to show their quality. But there's qualities reaming through both of these two teams. It's just they don't show it consistently enough to prove their worth and to really get results on a consistent basis. That's nicely done. Here's Diouf. Nice little play down the left there, but well cut out by Joe Rodon, who came across there for Leeds. It looks like Jared Bowen's playing off that left-hand side for the moment. Usually occupies this right flank. Linking up here, down the left, and here is Jared Bowen. He's got options in the box. Bowen across! Great save! Fabulous save by Lucas Perry. Firm reactions, kept alive by Walker-Peters. Left it in and away by Stroke. What a save by Lucas Perry. Fabulous save. Well, it took a deflection from Jared Bowen's effort, and Perry had to be reactionary. Quick reactions, and he was, to deny West Ham an opener. Disasi. Now Walker-Peters. Electrified the crowd as Adama Traore gets on the end of that pass. Now Magassa. Right to El Hadji Malik Diouf. Goes to the early cross, flicked on by Bowen. Headed away at the back posts. West Ham with a spell of pressure here as Diouf chases. Magassa's wide ball. Diouf trying the cross. Blocked behind for a corner. See this again. Bowen's effort. Yeah. Flicked on by Castellanos, I think. Yeah, Castellanos with a little flick. And fabulous save by Lucas Perry. Unbelievable save. Tati Castellanos with a little cheeky little flick. 9 times out of 10 would have caught a goalkeeper out, but fabulous from Lucas Perry to deny him there. West Ham with their first corner of the game. 7 minutes in. Right-footed delivery. Headed on and headed right on to Anton Stack, who hooks clear. And I think flag was up anyway for offside. As you see, the large cohort, 9,000 Leeds fans have travelled up down from Yorkshire. Going to go for this long free kick here. Leeds, Lucas Perry. Long kick forward there. Head up by Mecha, but Leeds couldn't keep it for the moment. Lovely little spin by Tati Castellanos, but referee's actually given a foul by Castellanos on the defender. Craig Pawson, the referee this afternoon, has given that free kick, which, to the distaste of the West Ham players, certainly the disagreement of the West Ham players. Here's Justin down the left, finds Okafor. Disasi tracks all the way out. Okafor flicks it back for Tanaka. Nice strike. Cross to Biol. Now Rodon. Yaka Biol again for Leeds. Flick ball around the corner. Taken down in the middle by Leeds. Ampadu. Now Tanaka. Fed wide to Okafor. 4 in the box for Leeds. Okafor beats past his man. Clips it across. 3 were lining up and none of them could get a touch to it. As Bowen has to come back to help defend. But it's given back to Ayo Tanaka. Biol. Tanaka. Tanaka reverses it back to Biol. A nice strike. Just popping it around. Well, West Ham have had not an easy progression to the quarterfinals. They've been pushed almost all the way in every game. Okafor flicks it round the corner. That's a lovely ball for the underlapping Justin, who was brought down. Eased off the ball, says the referee, and that one's cleared away. Creating some pressures down that left-hand side, Leeds. Oh, Ampadu an awkward one backwards here. Biol had just enough and Rodon helping with the cover. Okafor felt he was dragged back, and Craig Pawson agrees. Well, as I was saying, West Ham beat QPR in the London Derby in round 3. Needed extra time to beat them. Then needed extra time to beat Burton Albion after being down to 10 men, West Ham. And then another London Derby here in the 5th round. Needed penalties to see off Brentford here at the London Stadium after a 2-2 draw. So they've not had an easy run to the quarterfinals, West Ham. For Leeds, they've went to 1 penalty shootout. Their other 2 games have ended in 90 minutes. They headed to Derby in round 3, won 3-1. Needed penalties to get past Championship Birmingham in round 4. And then in round 5, made easy work of Norwich City at Elland Road. 2-0 up before half-time in that one, and sitting pretty really for a long time, Leeds, in that game. Albeit Leeds, this is their first Premier League opponent in the FA Cup this season. All 3 previous opponents have been Championship sides. West Ham have already played Premier League opposition in Brentford in round 5. Back-to-back home Premier League battles in the FA Cup for the Hammers. Here's Matej Fernandez, seen off the ball well by Tanaka. Here's Stack for Leeds. Flicks it in from the right. Handed away by Walker Peters. Brought down by Magassa. Rolled it on to Traore. Traore beats past Stroik inside. Gets off. Ampadu riding challenges for fun. Traore now finds Jared Bowen. And the shot and save by Lucas Perry. West Ham have that blistering counter-attacking pace. And here they come again. Bowen swings it with a cutback. Castellanos trying the overhead kick. Doesn't get very far. And I think the foul was given anyway against Tati Castellanos for a foul on Yaka Biol. I have to say, I'm really energetic today. Look at this from Adama Traore. I mean, it's fabulous. Gets past Stroik, then just shoves Ethan Ampadu out of the way. Rides those challenges. And then just guides it towards Bowen on the left. He struck it with his left boot back across goal. And forcing another good save out of Lucas Perry. 2 good, strong pieces of goalkeeping for the Leeds keeper so far. Stroik drifting the ball up the field. From the centre-back position as James Justin was edged off the ball. And I think, have they given a free kick there, the officials? Adama Traore feels a little hard done by. To me, it didn't look like much of a foul. Yeah, well, actually, to be fair, he does try and come through James Justin there. A little bit impatient there, Adama Traore. Something Nuno Espirito Santo doesn't agree with either. The decision. Free kick to Leeds taken quickly. Tanaka into the space for Lucas Mecha, who's got an option wide. Ball swung in from Bogle. Cleared away by West Ham. Bowen pokes it through for Traore. He's got Castellanos ahead. Overhit the ball though. And Yacobillo can retrieve, but both sides have got threats on the break. So far in the first 14.5 minutes, it's been end to end. Very enjoyable start to this match. But one thing that will categorise this game is about being clinical. Both sides will create chances, but it's about finding the back of the net, and that's something that they've been, I think, a little criticised for this season, both teams, is the fact that they haven't been clinical enough in the final third. And that's something they'll try and find today. They faced each other. Hold on a second, as Leeds almost play themselves into bother. Yacobillo bails his team out. Castellanos was lurking. Free kick it is to throw-in, to West Ham on the left side. See this again. Yeah, great tackle by Yacobillo. Fabulous tackle. West Ham with the possession now. Disasi. Well, as I said, these two have met 3 times previously in the FA Cup. Leeds won the first game between the sides in 23-24 after a replay, but the Hammers have won the last 2. That was in 1929-30 and 2021-22 was the last meeting of the FA Cup between the two sides. Took 92 years between their last 2 meetings before this one in the FA Cup. 1930 and 2022, the gap. 92 years. Strike. Across to Biol. Seems to be a lot of space in this game so far for both teams to try and exploit, trying to be expansive. Both sides. That's what you like to see. It's an FA Cup tie. You want to be expansive, you want to be explosive. Try and be on the front foot. Both sides want to head to the semi-final. No, you can't defend your way to Wembley. You certainly can attack your way to Wembley. And let's hope we see quite a lot of attacking football this afternoon. Bogle wanted a foul there. Referee didn't give it, but Leeds have it back all of a sudden as Mecha tried the back heel. Miscued that one. As Bogle intercepts again. Both sides not wanting to keep the possession all of a sudden. Here is Jayden Bogle. Out wide it goes to Tanaka. Back inside to Bogle on the edge of the area. Well shielded, but it drops the stack. Now Tanaka back to Bogle. Needs move it well. Unable to really penetrate the 18-yard box as of yet. Stack. Back to Tanaka. All the way back to the halfway line for Yacobillo. What seems to be the deepest outfield player for Leeds. Not that you would be too surprised by that, being the central centre-back of the back 3. Here's Ethan Ampers, who comes and retrieves the ball off his goalkeeper. And carries it into decent position for Stack. Now Bogle. Direct ball towards Lucas Mecha, who holds off Max Kilman well, and Kilman makes sure he was going nowhere further there. Lucas Mecha gives away the free kick. Yeah, first bit of good hold-up play we've seen in the Leeds centre forward so far, and Max Kilman wasn't letting him make a fool of him. He down the ground rules there, did Max Kilman. And a free kick given to Leeds. Leeds with a free kick, very long range, about 30 odd yards, nearly about 34, 35 yards of a distance. Stack over it. He tries to go long ranger right at the goal, but that one doesn't find its target. And right off the back of it, a foul given away by Leeds. Free kick to West Ham. Matej Fernandez fouled. I mean, what a wasted opportunity really there for Leeds. Nicely won back there by Okafor. A little bit of room there for Leeds. They couldn't quite exploit it, but here is Okafor. Off the left, trying to run at Disasi. Flicks it into the box. Off the head of James Justin. And Diouf with a header back to his keeper. He just about kept it in play there. Could have given away a cheap corner. Dangerous one to do there. Bundled over. It was Castellanos who wanted a foul, but again the referee didn't give it, which is slightly confused the West Ham players. Bogle picked up that inverted position, as does Justin, the two fullbacks. Swung out to the left side for Okafor. He's got Walker-Peters for company. Swings it inside again over the head of Stack. Bogle keeps it alive. Flag stayed down. Bogle tried to shoot, but run into bodies anyway. And West Ham can clear it away. Joe Rodon was caught there by Castellanos. He's using his legs, getting them high up early doors here, Tati Castellanos. That's two Leeds centre backs that he's caught in the head so far. Accidental, of course, but it's definitely a free kick there. Well, West Ham have won just 3 Premier League games here at the London Stadium this season. Only Burnley and Spurs have won less home games this season in the league. When it comes to Leeds, their away form's not been great. As we hold on to this opportunity for Leeds. Cleared away again by West Ham. Picked up by Tanaka. Everybody deep in the West Ham final third. Okafor. Tanaka. Trying to switch it out to the right. Space and time for Justin to chest it down. Bogle trying to cross. Blocked by Bowen. Kept alive by Leeds, who retrieve. Have dominated the possession so far, the visitors. Stroik. Down the left. Ball picked up by Okafor. Back again to Tanaka. Okafor. Dribbling towards the box. Tries to beat his man and blocked by Walker-Peters. Behind for the Leeds corner. Yeah, Leeds' away record. Only 1 away win in the league. 7 draws. Only Wolves have failed to win away in the league. So when they go away from home domestically this season, Leeds, but albeit though, 2 of their 3 FA Cup ties prior to this were away from home. Derby and Birmingham. Stack's corner, punched away by Areola. And there's 2 bodies down in the box there, 1 of each team. It's Freddie Potts and Pascal Stroik, who both kind of collided there. Yeah, just kind of clashed into each other. And Areola got a clean punch on that corner. Nicely dealt with by the West Ham goalie. On by Okafor. Okafor picks up the loose back pass, and ultimately West Ham can scramble it back to their keeper. There's a lack of cutting edge really in the final third from both teams. West Ham have had the two best chances, without a doubt, but haven't been able to take either. Well saved by Lucas Perry on both occasions. Leeds with a lot of the ball, but less of the clear-cut opportunities. Here comes James Justin though. Justin trying to spin one across the 6-yard area. No one in the mix there for Leeds to get on the end of it. Behind for a goal kick. And he says Leeds ground at home is intimidating. I've been their fans being there make it a den. Well, 100%. Elland Road, one of the most difficult places to go, and arguably the London Stadium, a place that even West Ham fans have said they've struggled to create atmosphere because of the structure of the stadium. Sometimes they feel like fear they don't create the atmosphere they really want to, or what they did at Upton Park when they were there. That was 10 years ago now, by the way. They last played at Upton Park in 2016 before moving to the London Stadium, West Ham. That's a lovely ball wide. Here's James Justin for Leeds. Lays it to Okafor. Cuts it back. Ayo Tanaka dribbling through and finds it into the back of the net. Ayo Tanaka off the underside of the crossbar. Leeds have breakthrough. West Ham United stunned. Leeds United in front. And the 9,000 strong Leeds fans at the other end of the stadium go absolutely nuts. Beautiful from Ayo Tanaka, who was so patient, so composed, so cool. West Ham 0, Leeds United 1. Again, it comes down this left-hand side. It's Tanaka that starts it, switches the ball out to the left, finds James Justin in space, waits for the overlap of Okafor. Okafor cuts it back. Tanaka makes the run into the box, completely unsighted until it's too late. He dribbles, he switches in between 2 feet to figure his way into a shooting position. As he does, struck it clean. Bit of a deflection up off the Sassy onto the underside of the crossbar and into the back of the West Ham net. Unfortunate for West Ham. Maybe a slice of luck for Leeds, but they've created the best in the last 10 minutes. They've been the better side. They've controlled the game, and they take the advantage. West Ham 0, Leeds 1. We're off and running in the 4th and final FA Cup quarter-final. And it is the visitors who lead. Tanaka pokes through, but ultimately no way forward there for Leeds as Alhaji Malik Diouf intercepts and lets that one run for a West Ham throw. Leeds last won at the London Stadium back in January of 2022. They won 3-2 in that game. They led 3 times, were pegged back twice by West Ham. And it was a Jack Harrison hat-trick that night, or that day, that secured the 3-2 victory for Leeds. A season where both sides stayed in the Premier League. West Ham finished 7th that season. Leeds finished 17th. And it was a victory that ended up being key to them staying in the Premier League ultimately that season. So their only win against West Ham, away at West Ham shall I say, in 24 years. Played West Ham away 5 times in the Championship, the Premier League and the FA Cup in those runs, and they've only won once, lost 3 times and drawn once. Have Leeds in the last 5 meetings at West Ham's ground at the London Stadium or Upton Park. Leeds have been very strong. Certainly centrally, they've been run the midfield show. They've run midfield so far. Magassa and Potts have been barely involved. Even Matej Fernandez. West Ham midfield has been very seldom involved in the possession so far. As I said, they created the two best chances before the Leeds goal without finding the nets. Magassa. Right to the left for Diouf. Back to Caoimhan. West Ham with a bit of possession now. Need of a response. West Ham side who, as I said in the last round, they took their way past Premier League opponents. They actually led that game twice against Brentford. Jared Bowen with 2 and Igor Thiago with 2 for Brentford to tie the game up twice in the match. West Ham scored all 5 of their penalties in that shootout. They won 5-3 against Brentford in round 5. And they have work to do here against the Premier League side who have 4 points on them in the league as the table sits as it is. Beautiful interception by Tanaka, who's been very strong in that midfield, I have to say. Breaking things up so far for Leeds. All the way back here to Perry, who sends it flying. Just over the head of Lucas Mecha. He was well matched by Axel Disasi. Well, Leeds have got to 8 FA Cup semi-finals. 4 they won, 4 they lost. West Ham have got to 7 FA Cup semi-finals. 5 won and just 2 lost, which is an incredible record for West Ham. Here's a ball over the top here for Jared Bowen. Jayden Bogle trying to get in the way of it. Did just enough to see it out for the throw there, Jayden Bogle. And the last time West Ham got to an FA Cup semi-final was all the way back in 2006. And they went on to go to the final. Well, that's a lovely whip ball in by the Hammers, just right the way through. Diouf picks up on the left. Little 1-2 between him and Tati Castellanos. And ultimately Leeds come away with the ball with Stack. Carries them forward. Okafor picks up the loose ball and they're away here, Leeds. This could be dangerous. Okafor rolls it through. Shot by... Oh! Shot there by Stack, carried wide by the goalkeeper, Areola. West Ham were at 6s and 7s at the back and they needed their goalkeeper to rescue them there. And they try and make a defensive tackle there, West Ham, and almost just play through Noah Okafor, who lays it off for Anton Stack, who struck well across goal as he was caught by Caoimhan just after. He's trying to tackle for it, and a big save by Areola. Much needed. And they're actually going to check for a possible penalty here. Said about Caoimhan's challenge on Stack. He did follow through. And I think they might give this, you know. Konstantin Hatzidakis is the VAR. And I think they're just going to say this is no penalty. Yeah. It is late, but it's an honest attempt to get to the ball, and Stack does get the shot off anyway, so he's not really hampering Anton Stack, Anton Stack until it's the shot's already been taken, so there's very little they could do about it. As I was saying, West Ham last got to an FA Cup semi-final back in 2006. They beat Middlesbrough 1-0 at Villa Park to get to the final, and that's the Gerrard final in 2006, if you remember, Liverpool winning after a 3-3 draw with that incredible rocket of an effort to level the game in the final that year. Really good save by Areola. I have to say, both goalkeepers have been very impactful so far. Some really big saves by both goalkeepers. And Leeds have got to the FA Cup final 4 times, but haven't been there since 1973. We've only won it once, back in 1972. West Ham have won it 3 times. And the last, 1980, was the last time they won the FA Cup semi-final, or FA Cup final. Whipped in ball by Tanaka from the corner. Headed away. Fully cleared as Stack is back to his feet, by the way. They were just checking up on Anton Stack. And he is up on his feet, but he's kind of limping his way around the edge of the pitch here. Right at the West Ham corner flag. And they're just going to walk it off around the outside of the pitch to see how he is before he's waved back on by the referee. Or will he be waved back on? Because Brendan Aronson is stripped and ready on the sidelines. Long throw in here for Leeds, flicked on by Tanaka, and Lucas Mecha with the flick over the crossbar. Another long throw, and Strouk, sorry, that actually got the header, flicked it on to Lucas Mecha, who struck it cleanly, but just struck it over the crossbar. Leeds still down to 10 for the moment. Anton Stack off the pitch after receiving some treatment. And he is coming back on now. And we'll see how he goes. Brendan Aronson was ready to come on in any case, but I'm going to give it a go here. Adama Traore, lovely ball in behind. Walker Peters clips it across over the head of Castellanos. Drops for Diouf. To Magassa. Told to shoot by the crowd. Kilman's deep ball. Traore. Well behind. Again, they've showed promising signs, West Ham, in moments, but just not consistently enough in this first half to really stake a claim that they should be very much in this. Since they had those 2 really good efforts, haven't had a shot since the 13th minute. 25 minutes since they last had a shot in the game, West Ham. Leeds have had 5 shots since the last West Ham effort. And albeit Stack wanted to give it a go, but didn't last too long. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't any big of an injury, and they've just taken him off as a precaution. So Brendan Aronson is on for Leeds to replace Anton Stack. Beautiful touch by Okafor. Lays it wide to Justin. Back to Okafor. Given all the way back to Jacobiol. It's in the West Ham half. It's a big blow though to Leeds. Anton Stack, a real key player, certainly from set pieces. His delivery is absolutely wonderful, and some of his free kick goals this season have been absolutely sublime. Sometimes these games Can come down to those key set-piece moments, and it will be a big blow for Leeds to lose a player like Anton Stack. They've still got quality all over the field, as Tanaka has a bit of defending to do here, covering the right back position at the moment. Potts plays it back in. Bowen! Shot there a bit optimistically from ranges. That's a late tackle by Mecha, but they keep it alive. Walker-Peters and the pea shooter from Matej Fernandez. It's going to be a free gathered by the Leeds keeper. Well, I said Lucas Mecha committed a challenge late on Walker-Peters, or was it Disasi? See it here. It's just a late lunge, really. I think Disasi kind of runs into him more than anything, but late challenge. He's going to get a yellow card, the Leeds centre forward, for that challenge. I don't know if the referee's given a free kick, but I think just a retrospective yellow card for the tackle. Strike down the left side for Justin, who felt he was held on to there, but he play on. Justin again on the ball and was clipped at his heels, but can we play on again, and Strike seen out of play. A little bit more positive from West Ham, a little bit more aggression out of possession there. Pressing Leeds in those tight areas, not allowing them to have free roam. I mean, Leeds did have at one point around about 70% possession. They were completely dominant. That's kind of narrowed back towards the 50-50 mark. It's 57 to 43 in Leeds' favour still, but West Ham have fought a little more since the goal, but need to create a big chance before half time. They started well, West Ham, but just kind of fallen away in the game, and Leeds just took firm grip and got their goal that has them in front. And that's what they've got to hold on to, as it will be a Leeds throw here. Disasi had the last touch as it was bouncing out, so it will be a throw to Leeds. Down the line from Justin, held up by Okafor. He's been very heavily involved down this left side. Okafor and Tanaka trying to link up there. Of course, no Okafor with the assist for Ayo Tanaka's goal. He whipped the ball back across the edge of the in the box for Tanaka to stride onto. Mecha, a little bit imbalanced there, lost his balance. Picked up by Bogle, high up the field, and he tried to swing it in with some venom there. Just too quick and too high tempo that for anybody to react. Yeah, but I have to say West Ham need to fix this midfield issue, because they're being overrun consistently in midfield in this first half. Something they need to just kind of resolve at the break, because they're being outnumbered time and time again. And Leeds, that's where they're winning it back so often. Leeds is in that midfield position when they get an overload. West Ham are just getting outplayed in that area. And they can't really build up because of it. Leeds are getting so many bodies central that they're just suffocating West Ham and forcing them out wide, which Leeds feel comfortable in doing at the minute, defensively anyway. Here's Malik Diouf. Early cross. That one beat the press, and the shot from Tati Castellanos just over the crossbar. That was a good early cross from Diouf. Smart idea. Castellanos got the better of Biol. Struck just over the crossbar. Well, the fourth official certainly gave good reason as to why he's a fourth official and a referee and not a football player with that touch. He's going to do his day job of putting up that board. Show us how long will be added on at the end of the 45 here in about 40 seconds. He'll let us know. Last minute of the half. Certainly of normal time. Leeds in front. Now Tanaka's deflected strike in off the underside of the crossbar. As the visitors in front at the London Stadium. West Ham had started the better and had the two early best chances, but Leeds controlled it the majority of this first half and have no doubtedly been the better side. Here come West Ham down the left. Juff's cross! Right the way through the 6-yard box with no one on the end of it. Again, those crosses coming in. 4 added minutes, by the way, with the Stack injury. The VAR check as well, and a couple of stoppages, but 4 added minutes at the end of the first half. But I've seen a lot of those crosses today, certainly from both teams, that have just swung across low and hard across the 6-yard box. And, you know, gone are the days. It's always been known as the corridor of danger. You find a ball into that spot, it's so difficult to defend if you get someone in there. No one's really making those runs anymore. Very rarely, very kind of once in a blue moon do you ever see a centre forward really make that darting, poaching run to the 6-yard box, waiting for those crosses. So far in this game, both teams have done it and have had no one on the end of it. As Leeds get a free kick here with a little shove by Matheus Fernandes on a Leeds player. Free kick to the visitors. Strike, lovely fed through ball. Justin across, deflected off to Sassy into the hands of Areola, but they're getting done in the channels. West Ham there. James Justin, I have to say, the best players in terms of, not individually, but in terms of the way Leeds are playing tactically in this first half, the wing backs. They are the key to the difference of this game. Because so far, Jayden Bogle, a little less so, but more on James Justin. Down this left side, he's played inverted to create the overload in midfield, but then he's also stayed wide as a natural wing-back would, and overlapping on the outside to create a kind of as an overload in the wing, in the wide areas, as a kind of like a second winger type. And they're causing real problems, changing those roles consistently throughout the game, fluidly throughout the game. It's causing West Ham problems, and they just can't deal with it at the minute. And I think they kind of need to go man for man in that front. And just kind of match Leeds. Maybe go to a back 5, get an extra defender out there. Go man for man and kind of track the wing-backs with your own wing-backs in a sense. That's a deep cross. Away by Justin doing his defensive duties. Walker-Peters cuts it back. Magassa's deep ball. Castellanos! Bowen, can he force it over the line? He can't. Into the hands of Lucas Perry. And the flag was up anyway against the West Ham captain. You see that nice cut back by Walker-Peters and a little flick ball across by Magassa. Headed on by Castellanos, and Bowen just strayed offside from Castellanos' header. Actually, kicks into the back of Jacobiol. Bowen, he didn't get any contact to that anyway, but he was offside. Impacting play. Last 30 seconds of the half. West Ham 0, Leeds 1. But it'll be very intriguing to see what Nuno Espirito Santo does at half-time, whether he does tweak the way West Ham are playing. Because Walker-Peters and Juff aren't naturally... I mean, Walker-Peters has probably played more in a back 4 than Juff. But more often than not, they're more of a wing-back type of players. And if you just bring that extra defender on, I think, albeit they're short of numbers, West Ham, and that's probably why, but, you know, maybe create that back three whatever way you can, and even drop an extra defender or an extra midfielder in there just to drop a little deeper to create that five-man back line. But the half-time whistle's gone, and it is just the one goal that separates the sides. It's Leeds United in front through Ayo Tanaka's effort, and at the moment it is the visitors who will be heading to Wembley for the semi-final. The home side West Ham have work to do, and we'll see. Intriguing to see what they do in the second half. They don't want to exit on home turf, but Leeds, as I said, have progressed from 2 of their 3 FA Cup round ties away from home, and they're doing it, halfway to doing it here. Half time in this fourth and final quarter-final. It's West Ham 0, Leeds United 1. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Nice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. to the FA Cup Live on this quarter-final weekend here on LFS. Thank you very much for joining us in what is our fourth and final FA Cup quarter-final of the weekend. It's been great to have your company right the way through, and this is the first time that we've seen an away side take the lead so far this weekend. Only two away teams have put the ball in the back of the net, Leeds and Arsenal. The other two really didn't show up, to be honest, in their respective quarter-final ties. West Ham, the only home side yet to score in the FA Cup this weekend, and Leeds in front through Ayo Tanaka's goal after 26 minutes, giving Leeds the opener. And I'd say they've been the better side, and at the moment they're booking their place at Wembley for the semi-finals in 3 weeks' time. Of course, we'll be joined. The winners of this one will be joined alongside Man City, Chelsea and Southampton at Wembley. And Southampton, the only non-Premier League side that will be in the semi-finals. Of course, these are both all Prem sides, both Premier League sides in action here right now. And we'll find out who will be going through to the semi-finals very shortly. It's Leeds with the half-time advantage, but that is not done and dusted. A reminder for you, the FA Cup semi-finals are in 3 weeks' time, the weekend of Saturday the 25th and Sunday the 26th of April, one each day, and we will have full details of that in due course. And we will have the draw for the semi-finals directly after the final whistle of this tie between Leeds and West Ham. We will have the semi-final draw coming for you a little later. Before all that, to worry about the semi-finals, we have Championship action on Easter Monday for you. We start tomorrow at 12:30 as a relegation battle between Portsmouth and Oxford United at Fratton Park. Looking forward to that one tomorrow. 12:30 kickoff. That's one of 3 Championship matches on Easter Monday. Second half, though, between West Ham and Leeds, where West Ham are trailing by a 0-0. It's on the way next. Welcome back to FA Cup Live. For this one, Leeds, I think, are already out there. West Ham are certainly heading out from the tunnel. It looks like there's going to be some changes afoot for the Hammers at the break. A double change. It's going to see Pablo and Thomas Soucek coming on. And Leeds aren't already out there. They're going to be following suit. They are in front. Ayo Tanaka's goal, the difference between West Ham and Leeds at the break. Is that enough to get them through? Or will West Ham have a real fight back in the second half to try and fight for their place at Wembley? So much on the line. As the fourth official is just about to tell us about those changes for West Ham at half-time. And Cyril Migasa and Freddie Potts are the two coming off here for West Ham at half-time. A double switch then for the Hammers. And I said they needed to change things in that midfield. They've been overrun in that first half, and he is making changes, is Nuno. And we're back underway then at the London Stadium. Leeds get us going. Kicking from left to right, West Ham from right to left. I was wondering what that noise was. I thought there was some crackling in my earphones. It's not. It's outside. I was wondering what that noise was. Well, this is the furthest West Ham have got in the FA Cup since they got to the 6th round back in 2016. They lost to Man United, drew 1-1 in the first in the first game, and then lost 2-1 on a replay. Long throw from Ampadu here for Leeds. Headed away, not fully cleared. Drops for Biol, who was beaten to it by Bowen, who plays a lovely ball through here for Traore. He's on his bike and was hacked down there by Ampadu, who's going to get a yellow card. But if there's ever a man to take a tactical yellow card, it's Ethan Ampadu. He knew exactly what was coming there. He gave the referee a thumbs up in acceptance that he was going to get a yellow card there, the Leeds captain. And Adama Traore, the one taken down there by the Leeds skipper. As I said, West Ham haven't got past the 6th round or the equivalent, also known as the quarterfinals, since, as I said, they reached the final back in 2006 when they lost to Liverpool on penalties. They were knocked out of the quarterfinals. The last time they were knocked out at this stage was in 1998. Arsenal beat them in the quarterfinals in 98. And 1-1 draw. And then it went to a replay, and they lost on penalties, West Ham 4-3 in the replay against the Gunners. Yeah, it's a really late challenge by Ethan Ampadu. It's a really dangerous one as well, I have to say. I could get that he took Adama Traore out, but he was away, and it was a really, really dangerous tackle. Lucky to just get away with a yellow there. Definitely a yellow, and it's been checked and cleared. It is a yellow, but there's an issue here for Joe Rodon for Leeds. Oh, their body blow. They've already lost Anton Stack through injury. Joe Rodon has felt something after a little clash just before that West Ham counter-attack that led to the free kick from that long Leeds throw. It's kind of caught in there. And Joe Rodon being checked up, his right ankle being checked. And Rodon back up to his feet. Four minutes gone in the second half, which a lot of it's been stopped. West Ham eventually take this free kick. Long ball by Diouf forward. Headed away by Mecha and followed up by Okafor. As Leeds down to 10 still with Rodon off the field. Diouf wide to Adama Traore on the left. Clips one into the box. Lots queuing up. Cleared away by Stroik. And now Ampadu's got the ball in space. Lay it out wide to Okafor. Lots of West Ham numbers flooding back. No one really up for Leeds at the moment, but here comes Okafor. Run into Matej Fernandez. Ampadu there to win it back. And now Aronson felt he was brought down. Fouled, but referee said no as they win it back quickly, Leeds. Biol wide to Bogle. Bogle cuts back onto his left foot. Ampadu just kind of miscues his pass. Well won back by Rodon, who's returned to the play. Right back in the thick of it again as he was shoved over by Thomas Soucek. And the referee said that was fair challenge, just a West Ham throw. Looks like Leeds are going to ready another change. Sebastian Bornau is ready and waiting to come onto the field. Diouf with a long kick. And won by Rodon, who's felt it a little there. Biol wrestling. Ball over the top by Soucek. And the flag's going to go up against Castellanos. Oh, a beautiful finish, by the way. Absolutely quality finish. The whistle had gone, it won't count nonetheless, but beautiful little finish. Yeah, he was a good yard offside. He's offside certainly, but this strike, that's audacious, that's lovely. Fabulous little effort. He is offside though. So Leeds going to make that change then. Joe Rodon is going to be replaced by Sebastian Bornau. So that's two players they've lost through injury in this game, Leeds. Two key players, Joe Rodon, stalwart at the back, and Anton Stack, stalwart in midfield. And concern, it looks like he's gone right down the tunnel there. Joe Rodon. Tanaka all the way back to Perry here. Tanaka. Ooh, a little bit loose there, Leeds. They get out of it with Beal. And now Sebastian Bornau wide. First involvement, link up with Bogle. He just about finds it to Ampadu. Now Perry, wide to Bogle. Couple of players forward for Leeds as it finds the edge of the box there for Okafor. Ultimately nothing coming through as Bogle tries to win it back and commits the foul. Well, Leeds haven't got this far in the FA Cup in a long, long time. The last time they got to the quarterfinals was in 2003. They ended up losing that quarterfinal 1-0 to Sheffield United. The last time they progressed past the quarterfinals was back in 1987. And they lost to Coventry in the semi-finals that year. After extra time. 1987, the last time Leeds got to a FA Cup semi-final. 39 years. And is that about to change? Albeit they've had a okay run in the FA Cups over the last few years. Reached the 5th round in 2 of the last 3 seasons. Knocked out of the 4th round last year by Millwall. Lost to Chelsea in the 5th round in 2024 and lost to Fulham in the 5th round in 2023. Here come Leeds down the left with Okafor trying to find Bogle. Cut out well. Now he drops to Ampadu. In the box, Mecha! Just couldn't get any sort of clean contact to it there. Tanaka trying to apply the press. West Ham try and bypass the press and do so well. Castellanos closed down by Tanaka. I have to say, West Ham haven't been able to make it stick so far in this game. They've been lost the ball quite a lot, West Ham. Giving it away cheaply a lot of the time. They just haven't had really much response to Leeds' press. Need to go a little earlier. That was nice to Walker-Peters. Bowen flings one down the right side for Walker-Peters to continue on his run. Tried to cross it early. Was well blocked by Struijk, and that's got a rousing response from the home crowd. Back to basics for the Hammers. These fans desperate to see their side back at Wembley. It's a long time coming. Bowen. Kilman. Diouf. Fernandez. Kilman. Wide it goes to Traore. Left hand flank. Adama Traore tiptoeing towards the area. Cuts onto his right foot. Deep cross to the back post. Headed away there. And there was a clash that's seen I think it's Jacobillol that's gone down, and I think Pablo is also down for West Ham. Clash of heads there, which as the game stopped. Damatriori's cross was beautiful. And Strouk was just behind the action. Biol and Pablo just clashing heads. Pablo back to his feet. And Biol slow to get back to his feet, but he's just going to receive some treatment. And listen to this for a stat. Leeds have been eliminated from 16 of their last 18 FA Cup ties against Premier League opposition, including each of their last 7 in a row since they beat Spurs 2-1 in the 2012-13 fourth round. The last time Leeds progressed against Premier League opposition in the FA Cup. 13 years ago. Jacobillol is back to his feet. Looking a little dazed, but he's on his feet. Been a bit of a stop-start second half so far. Couple of issues. Already seen 2 Leeds players leave through injury. In Anton Stack and Joe Rodon. He doesn't want to add Jacobillol to his list there. Daniel Farker. Remember, they've only 3 opportunities to make subs, and they've already used 2 of them, Leeds. They don't want to use a third if they don't ultimately need to, because it could be crucial come the end of the game. To use some of the players they've got on their bench to change this match. And Biol looks okay. Pablo's also off the field after he received some treatment, so both teams both down to 10 as Adama Traore runs the ball out of play down the left channel. 32 minutes to go then. West Ham 0, Leeds 1 in this FA Cup quarter-final. Leeds United in front through Ayo Tanaka's deflected effort off the underside of the crossbar to open the scoring. And both teams restored to their strong 11s after Biol and Pablo returned to the field of play. Aronson does well to step in there, and a long ball from Strike. One for Mecha to chase. Excuse me. Seen back by Disasi, back to his goalkeeper. I have to say, West Ham just haven't really done enough today, and that's a poor giveaway. I mean, won it back well by Suchak, but as I say, they've been really loose in possession today, West Ham. Giving it away again here. Is Okafor away? He's got Matcha in the middle. Wants to maybe go himself. Okafor runs out of room. Strong defending there by West Ham. Axel Disasi had it covered, but again, West Ham really sloppy in possession. Some real heavy touches. It's letting them down. They haven't been able to garner any sort of momentum in the game, West Ham. It's really lackluster in possession. One thing they can certainly hang on to is that there's only 1 goal deficit. There's a lovely ball in behind for Bowen. Bowen's the man who can be the man of the moment as always. Cuts it back. Castellanos struck it wide. That's what I mean. Only 1-0 to Leeds. West Ham are still very much in this despite their poor performance in the first 60 minutes of this game. All it takes is one moment. And the quality of the players they've got up front could only take a half chance for them to find a leveller. It was their best chance of the second half there. Only their second shot of the second half, both from Tati Castellanos, and both off targets. Still 30 minutes to go. Long way to go in this FA Cup tie. Long kick from Perry that ultimately finds its way back through to the opposing goalkeeper. Well, at this point, in last night's FA Cup tie. Southampton were leading by a goal to nil against Arsenal. Look at how crazy that last 25 minutes ended up being. So, if there's anything to say, this game's far from over. Of the 80 meetings these two have had in all competitions, Leeds have actually an over a 50% win rate. They've won 41 of the 80 meetings that these two have had over the years in competitive matches. West Ham have won just 18 times and they've drawn 21 times. West Ham have had 84% of the ball in the last 5 minutes. Could that be its swinging momentum? Lovely ball by Traore. Drops over the headers off the post. Lovely cross by Traore, and it's Castellanos again. And this time the woodwork denies the West Ham centre forward. But they're on the move here, the Hammers. And Leeds a little bit on the back foot at the moment. West Ham having their best spell of the game now. Diouf. He's going to go early with his cross. Right the way through. Walker-Peters tries to keep it in play, does keep it in play. Cuts it back to Bowen. Bowen driving into the box. Jared Bowen. Shot charged down by Strouk. Back to Disasi, who hits one. Blocked by Tanaka, who was a yard away, but amping up the cry, the West Ham players. Another fabulous cross by Traore, by the way. Dropped in behind Jakobijol. Castellanos header off the post. Traore flicks it across, punched away by Perry. Brought down by Walker-Peters in the area. Flicked it across. Away by Bornau. Right back it comes. Kilman feeds it wide to Walker-Peters. Swung in by Fernandez. Deflection behind for the corner. It's all West Ham. Their second corner of the game it will be. Look at this. So unfortunate. Castellanos. All Lucas Perry can do is watch. Rooted to the spot. Should be 1-1. Gilt-edged chance to say the very least. Another Leeds player down. Noah Okafor now in a bit of issue. There's a number of Leeds players that have gone down. Whether he's genuinely injured or whether it's a bit of tactical injury. Whether Leeds might be forced into another change. If they are, you would kind of think, would they make a number of changes in one go? Because if they make another injury change, they will have no subs left to use between now and the end of the game, unless it goes to extra time. And that's, I think, exactly what they're going to do. They've brought 4 players back. Of course, they can't bring all 4 of them on. Looks like they're actually going to bring on Willie Gnonto and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Ilya Gruyev look to be the 3 that are all getting stripped and ready on the sidelines. Okafor up on his feet, receives some gel. One of those kind of gels, and they're going to make this triple sub then, Leeds. Their final 3 subs of the game, at least until maybe extra time if needs be. Corner to West Ham though. Left-footed delivery from Bowen. Flicked on and headed away at the back post there. Hooked clear by Ampadu. West Ham throw it will be. Leeds not ready for the subs yet, so we play on. Fernandez. Disasi to Walker-Peters. Wide down the right it goes. Bowen. 3 in the box. Bowen driving towards the box. Blocked by Justin, but Bowen wins it back off the deflection. Walker-Peters, Fernandez, Bowen. Jared Bowen lifts it into the area. A little bit of a deflection. Takes it into the hands of Perry. And I think the header actually helped out his goalkeeper rather than hampered him. What a launch there with his hands from Lucas Perry. Flicked by Mecha and a slip by Aronson. West Ham have all the momentum. Can they use it and find an equalising goal? Walker-Peters. Bowen. Jared Bowen down the right. A little flick by Justin to block it. But again, West Ham piling on the pressure, and Leeds can't get out at the minute. Fernandez wrestling and winning the ball off Okafor. Still going Fernandez. He was brought down, but we still play as Leeds have it back. And they hook it clear, looking for the run of Brendan Aronson, who's got Kilman ahead of him. And Kilman guides that back to his goalkeeper, who easily lays it out to El Hadji Malik Diouf to carry West Ham forward. I think these substitutes for Leeds are much needed to bring some fresh legs off on the pitch to give them some energy. West Ham have been ignited from something. They've come alive here, the Hammers, in the last 10 minutes. Diouf. Back to Souček. Cross to Disasi. He will whip one across into the box. Beale with a header. Wasn't the best of clearances. Adama Traore picks up on the left channel up against Bogle. Dribbling his way. Trying to get past Bogle and Aronson. Make the blocks, but it will go behind for the corner. And this is a completely different atmosphere at the London Stadium now. Massive contrast to the first half. And this is what West Ham want to create. A dramatic last quarter of the game. 23 minutes remain. Leeds still in front, but can West Ham find a leveller? Fernandez swings one in, header away, drops for Bowen. Blocked. Picked up by Walker-Peters, feeds it wide to Bowen. Everybody still in the box for West Ham. Bowen's cross, blocked and away by Ampadu. Constant West Ham pressure. This strike by Bowen was clean. Blocked by Metja. Got his body in the way. And now we will see the triple sub for Leeds. Willy Gnonto, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Ilya Gruyev. It is the end of the day for Noah Okafor. He's coming off. Lucas Metja's also coming off. And Ayo Tanaka is also coming off, the goal scorer for Leeds. So Okafor, Tanaka and Metja all replaced by Calvert-Lewin, Gnonto and Gruyev. Straight swaps for Leeds in 3 different positions. Fresh legs. And they need them. Throw in for West Ham on the right. Walker-Peters goes all the way back to Disasi as they build from the back here. West Ham camped in the Leeds half, piling on the pressure, but still Leeds have the advantage. Nice reverse ball to Felipe, or Pablo, sorry, Pablo Felipe, but Pablo. As Calvert-Lewin though picks it up for Leeds. Gnonto, little flick, finding Justin, and then Gnonto gets it back and was brought down by Axel Disasi, who vehemently disagrees with the referee's decision to give a free kick. Just kind of pushes him to the ground. Very little in it though, but it is a free kick the referee has given. An opportunity here for Leeds to alleviate the pressure they've been under, create some of their own with some fresh legs and some fresh personalities on the pitch. Ilya Gruyev to take this free kick. 20 minutes to go. Aerial threat. None more than Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'm sure. He will be surely the target for this. Gruyev's delivery, left-footed. Swung it back and stroke. Clean effort. Struck it over the crossbar. He pulled it back there, Gruyev, and Pascal Struijk with a kind of a vicious effort. ball that comes right back against West Ham here. Leeds in behind, want to go get a penalty. Referee says no, as someone went down there in Leeds colours. Was it Brendan Aronson? They're all claiming it here, Leeds, desperately. See it again. Oh. Max Kilman doesn't get any of the ball here. I think he's in danger here, Max Kilman. And West Ham are in danger because that's a poor tackle, I think, on Brendan Aronson. He's late. He doesn't get to the ball. And he takes down Brendan Aronson, who was in the box there in a dangerous position. Konstantin Hatzidakis. And I think, is it Stuart Atwell, the assistant? Is this going to be a VAR involvement that changes the way this FA Cup tie goes? And the referee's going to go to the screen. VAR told him to go and review this. I think Leeds might have a penalty here, and I think they should get one. Now, this is definitely a penalty for me. Max Kilman comes right through Brendan Aronson, catches him on the left shin with his shin, takes him down, doesn't get any of the ball. Kilman takes the man out. It's a penalty for me. Stonewaller. It's a Stonewaller for me. It's a poor tackle. The referee just making sure as he reviews the replays. Craig Pawson, the referee. He's made his decision. Let's hear what his decision is. Craig Pawson. After review, West Ham United number 3 commits a reckless challenge. And a penalty has been given, and a yellow card for Max Kilman. Penalty to Leeds, a yellow card for Kilman. And that is completely the correct decision, in my opinion. It's not anything more than a yellow card. A red card would be incredibly harsh, but yellow is correct. Penalty to Leeds is correct. Now can they capitalise and score it? That's the bigger question. Can Alphonse Areola, who stepped up a couple of times, made some big saves in the game so far for West Ham, can he make the big save to keep West Ham within one against Leeds? Dominic Calvert-Lewin missed the penalty at Palace in their last away game. But can he score from the spot in an FA Cup quarter-final to give Leeds a 2-goal advantage with 15 minutes to go against West Ham? Calvert-Lewin against Areola. Dominic Calvert-Lewin makes it 2-0 and gives Leeds a massive chance at going to Wembley. Is Wembley beckoning for Leeds United for the first time in the FA Cup in 39 years? Well, with 15 minutes to go at the London Stadium, they lead by 2-0, and they are surely 1 foot into a Wembley semi-final. West Ham United 0, Leeds United 2. Dominic Calvert-Lewin off the bench to score a penalty to double Leeds' advantage. And some West Ham fans think they've seen enough. It's a beautiful penalty. Bottom left corner, and even if Areola dives the right way, that is one of the toughest penalties to try and stop. Look at those fans, 9,000 strong. Travel down from all across the country to watch their team today on Easter Sunday. Well, their prayers seemingly have been answered, and it looks like Leeds have been blessed by the gods on Easter Sunday to brick their duck in the FA Cup quarter-finals and brick their duck against Premier League opponents in the FA Cup. 2-goal lead with 15 to go. And surely Wembley awaits, unless West Ham can pull off an unbelievable comeback. And probably this has come off the back of West Ham's best spell in this game, where they were dominating, they were pushing, they were probing, they were threatening, and they couldn't find that breakthrough. Here's Traore, breaks into the box, swings one across, blocked by Bogle, behind for the corner. They're not down and out yet, West Ham. Matheus Fernandes to take this West Ham corner. Fernandes with an unbelievably overhit corner. And that's going to run out for a throw-in on the far side. That's one hell of a deflator, that corner. That was a terrible corner. Speaking of deflated, those West Ham fans who'd find life in the last 10-15 minutes with their team's performance. A despondent West Ham cohort on an absolutely bouncing away end in the far corner here of the London Stadium. And Leeds United are absolutely, those fans absolutely loving it. As I said, they've waited the guts of 4 decades to get here, to get a chance to getting back to Wembley again in the semi-finals. Back to the semi-finals in the FA Cup. 1987, here they're in again, Leeds, it could really put it to bed. Bogle across, little flick, just wide by Gnonto. That would have really put the cap on it. Willie Gnonto with an audacious little effort, trying the little backheel flick, and it just spun wide. A whisker wide, to say the very least. That should have been 3. Should have been 3. They won't care, but they're enjoying themselves now. As I said, Leeds have played 3 quarter-finals since they were last in the FA Cup semis in 1987. They've lost all 3. 96 against Liverpool, 98 against Wolves, and 2003 against Sheffield United. Haven't been there since. It's been 23 years since they were in an FA Cup quarter-final. It looks like it's going to be an end of a 39-year wait for to be in an FA Cup semi-final. This is a West Ham side who've been eliminated from 8 of their last 10 FA Cup quarter-final ties. This is their first FA Cup quarter-final, as I said, since they lost in a replay against United back in 2016. And this will be, if West Ham don't find a way back, the first time that Nuno Espirito Santo has ever been eliminated from a domestic cup quarter-final in his managerial career. 4 previous domestic cup quarter-finals as a manager, and his teams have progressed every time previously, Nuno. The Taça de Portugal with Rio Ave in 2014, the 2019 FA Cup with Wolves, the 2023 Saudi King Cup with Al Ittihad, and the 2025 FA Cup with Nottingham Forest. All 4 occasions in those quarter-final games his teams have won. It's the 5th time of asking, it looks like. West Ham aren't going to follow suit. Looking to go to back-to-back FA Cup semi-finals coming into this one, Nuno. Here's come Willie Gnonto on the breakaway. He's got Calvert-Lewin ahead. Gnonto goes for himself again. Blocked by Disasi. West Ham throwing tackles in, but Leeds still come away with the ball. Here's Brendan Aronson run into Walker-Peters. Souček had nowhere to go, but he has help. Walker-Peters Oh, given away cheaply there by Castellanos, who come very deep. And now a long strike from Bernal. Saved over the crossbar by Areola. And a chant of Leeds, Leeds, Leeds from the travelling cohort behind that goal. Yeah, Sebastian Bornau just got all the time and space in the world. He hits a clean one. Areola with the save. Parries it wide, behind for the corner. 8.5 minutes to go. Leeds 2 up and pushing for a third. To make sure that it's beyond any reasonable doubt. Corner for Leeds, right hand side, left it in. Away by Areola with a punch. Flicked wide. On the return by Aronson. Now Gruyev. Gruyev back. Bogle trying to whip one in a little short. It will deflect back to Jayden Bogle, who will settle with the ball now for Leeds. Willie Nonto. A reminder, the FA Cup semi-final draw takes place after this tie is concluded. Here is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Blocked at the byline, it will be a corner. All Leeds now. Look at those fans, they're absolutely lapping every single second of this up. Daniel Farker, what a job he's done with this Leeds team. Rebuilt them in the Championship, made them a Premier League side again. He's fighting to keep them in the league this season, and is at the moment seeing his team go to an FA Cup semi-final. Right-footed delivery from the corner, up and into the hands of Areola. Still 7 minutes of normal time remain. Leeds will be very careful. Well, he's seen a little push there with Craig Paulson by Malik Diouf on the Leeds player, and that's going to be a Leeds free kick. As I said, what a job Daniel Farker's done. Well, it's more disappointment for the West Ham. For Nuno Espirito Santos Hammers, who will be brought right back down to earth. Right here. And they've got a huge, massive game on Friday night against Wolves here at the London Stadium. Under the lights, I'm sure it'll be bouncing on Friday night because they need it. Fellow relegation battlers. Albeit Wolves rock bottom and not too far away from being relegated right now. 13 points, the drift of safety with 7 games to go. West Ham just in the bottom 3 by a goal different, or by a point, sorry. They will leapfrog Spurs if they beat Wolves on Friday night. It's a huge game to come in the league for West Ham on Friday evening. They then have a trip to Palace, host Everton, away to Brentford, home at Arsenal, away to Newcastle, and then they play Leeds on the final day. Here's a chance. Nonto. Calvert-Lewin tried the little flick, but didn't find his man. Drops for Ampadu. Shot blocked. They're all trying it now, Leeds. Bogle. He was hacked into the air by Matej Fernandes. Another Leeds free kick. These two play each other, as I said, on the final day of the Premier League season. Who knows? That could be a major game in the relegation battle at that point. Who knows? Well, Leeds, their next trip is to Old Trafford on next Monday night. They then host Wolves, then head to Bournemouth, host Burnley, head to Spurs, host Brighton, and then, of course, a trip to West Ham away on the final day. And their Bournemouth game, it will be postponed because they will be in an FA Cup semi-final, so that will be rescheduled at a later date. 2 league games between now and Wembley for Leeds, it seems, as they enter the final stages of this one. Gruyev whips it deep, too deep that time. Going to be a goal kick. West Ham, is their one last gasp attempt to try and save themselves in this match? Who knows? But I think a lot of their fans don't believe. Quite a few of them have emptied their seats. Matej Fernandez spins one wide. Traore had no chance taking that one in, and it's seen out of play by Bogle for a throw. I have to say, this result is basically just reflective of the game. I think it's really fair the way the game's gone across the whole 90 minutes, really, from what we've seen, because West Ham have been second best. They've been second best all the way through. I think bar a 5-10 minute spell at the start and then a 15-minute spell in the second half, they've been very much second best. They've really been off it today, West Ham, and it's a real shame because, you know, they've such quality in this team. And I think it's been emphasised all season. There's quality in this West Ham team, but they just aren't showing it anywhere near consistently enough. And that's why they're in a relegation battle in the Premier League. But at the minute, are you really convinced that West Ham are good enough to stay in the Premier League? I think their recent performances have shown positive in the league. And that draw with Manchester City here was a great result for them. But I think, as I said earlier, and I said it about both teams, so I don't want to just single out West Ham. I said it about both teams. I said that they do have performances in them, but they're too inconsistent, these two. Leeds are a little bit less inconsistent because of their home form, and I think Leeds' home form is a lot better. Much better than West Ham's, but that's the difference, I think. You know, Leeds have won 6 home games this season, 5 draws. They've only lost 5 times at home this campaign. Now, that's still a lot of times, but for a Premier League side trying to avoid relegation, 6 home wins is a very good tally out of 16, and 5 draws. That's 11 games where they failed to win at home. That's a really strong record in the Prem for any newly promoted side. I think that's what separates these two, as Bogle over the top. But I think that's where these two are slightly separated in the league this season. Now it's only 4 points. So Leeds' away form is completely non-existent, really. In 7 draws away from home isn't a bad tally, but only 1 away win is not good enough, really, to have them clear of that relegation battle. They're only 4 points adrift of, or 4 points clear of safety, or of relegation. Sorry, so they're still in the mix. And a downturn in form towards the end of the season could see Leeds right back in the mire. But you know, West Ham could win on Friday night and be a point behind Leeds in the table, so they're not too far apart. But I just think Leeds they've proven more this season to me, anyway, that they've got the minerals to stay out of that relegation battle and really out of the relegation zone. West Ham, less so, in my opinion. Well, Jayden Bogle's going to be booked here for a tackle on Adama Traore as the 90 minutes hits. And we will have 11 minutes of added time. Where's that come from? Where's 11 minutes come from? What? I mean, we wrote West Ham off. 11 added minutes. Who knows? Free kick to West Ham here. Diouf leaves it. Fernandez trying to be cute with it, goes low. Cleared away at the front post by Gruyev. Fed back to Fernandez. Diouf whips it in. The header is a zip wide from Pablo with a header. Beautiful delivery by Diouf that time. Swung it beautifully, and the header flicked on by Pablo was just, and I mean just, onto the roof of the net. Not too far away there, West Ham. Just only 2 shots on target. And that last shot on target, 13th minute of the game. Both shots on target coming in the first 13 minutes haven't tested the Leeds goalkeeper since. Lucas Perry's been quiet. Can West Ham change that late to rescue any hope of a FA Cup comeback? Slim to none as the chances, but you never know. Leeds have had ample opportunity after they went 2-0 up to make it 3, but they haven't. And we know about 2-0. It's not done and dusted. Lovely ball over the top here. Pablo feeds it back to Traore. Traore across. Drops down for Bowen. Took it down nicely there, Bowen. Jared Bowen swings at one. Cleared off the post and in by Matheus Fernandes. Maybe they're not dead and buried yet, West Ham. Life in these hammers yet. They haven't blunted themselves. Jared Bowen strike off the post. A slice of luck that it rebounds into the path of Matheus Fernandes. But maybe a slice of luck that West Ham need. The woodwork denying Bowen. But Matheus Fernandes with an empty net in front of him. Perry had dived. He had absolutely no chance to keep that out. And maybe a bit of life in West Ham now. Well, I said those 11 minutes could really turn things. And now that West Ham have scored in the 93rd, there's still 8 minutes to go with this game. And it's not out of the realms of possibility that Leeds United, they're not over yet. It's not over yet. I mean, one hell of an FA Cup comeback, though, if they were able to do it, West Ham. And as a neutral, wouldn't you love to see it? No offence to Leeds, I really quite like Leeds, but West Ham, I mean, I have to say, is that in reverse? The West Ham fans are coming back in. That escaped to the exits, and those that haven't quite left have said, do you know what, on second thought, maybe we'll just hang around a little bit here. Why not? Maybe, just maybe, there's something left in this cup tie. Trying to be coy about it, those fans as well. You've been caught on camera. You've been seen sneaking your way back in. Here come Leeds. Not very far there. Disasi with the block. Walker Peters right on his own byline here. Pressed by 2 Leeds players, but has the out ball and Disasi hooks it up the field. A lifeline. A lifeline for West Ham. Here is Adama Traore down the left channel for West Ham United. Flicks one into the box. Too close to Lucas Perry that time. They feel it now, West Ham. And now they're feeling it at the way end. On a way end that was bouncing 10 minutes ago. And they are all stood still. And I mean still. They are not moving, those Leeds fans. They are terrified now that something magical might happen. And quite horrific for them might occur here. Disasi picked up by Souček. There's still half of the additional time to go. Only played 5.5 and there's still 5.5 to go. Traore down the left. Drifting towards the box. Works an angle. Whips it across the flick. It's in! Axel Disasi's done it! 2-2. West Ham are all the way back. Can you believe it? The magic of the FA Cup. Leeds were home and hosed. They thought they'd done it. They thought Wembley was awaiting them. West Ham thought they were dead and buried. But you felt it when the 4th official lifted that board and put the number of 11 on it. This whole stadium was in shock. They believed that they still had a chance. And you don't blame them in believing it now. Fernandez making it 2-1. And Axel Disasi with a real fabulous little kick in the air. An acrobatic one. Fabulous. Unbelievable. And Axel Disasi, I have to say, he's split. He's about a half an inch away from absolutely booting Pascal Stroik in the head. Fine margins. 2-2. However, VAR might destroy the party here because they're checking for a possible foul. And whether Axel Disasi got that goal via high boot. The decision is goal. VAR doesn't ruin the party. And West Ham have somehow pulled this off. I mean, there's still 3.5 minutes for anything still to happen. Daniel Farker can't believe it. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. Oh wow. The FA Cup. Absolute magic. Unbelievable this. I can't believe it. Oh. The whole stadium's in shock. Good shock and bad shock. The West Ham fans who were despondent, dejected. No belief whatsoever when Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored that penalty. And you have to say, I think we all believed the game was done and dusted. West Ham were out. Leeds were going through. But again, never doubt the magic of the FA Cup and the magic of a comeback. And it might not be done yet, you know. I said the prayers of Leeds United were answered on Easter Sunday. Well, the most desperate of West Ham prayers, instead they've been answered. Free kick to West Ham just inside the Leeds half. All the momentum with the Hammers. Could they nick it and complete an unbelievable comeback? Pure magic, this. Remember, if it is level, it will go to extra time. Every West Ham FA Cup tie has gone at least to extra time. 2-0 down, heading into the added time. They thought they were out. 11 added minutes. And the magic of the FA Cup. And they're all the way back. 2-2. And a minute away from extra time. I genuinely cannot believe it. I can't believe what I've just seen. Oh, Ampadu there needing to cover. Castellanos was running behind. Ampadu held up by Calvert-Lewin. A little flick, but Leeds can't keep it in play. And now they've lost all momentum. And it's all come all the way to West Ham. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This Traore down the left side. Just overhit that ball, was through to him. And Lucas Perry can retrieve. 30 seconds of the 11 added to go. But remember, we've had 2 goals in added time. There might be more to come, possibly. I can't believe this. Oh, a flick on here. Nonto's in behind. Can he snatch it? Fabulous defender by Kyle Walker-Peters to deny him. That would have been a real body blow for West Ham. That would have been a killer. And I think there's still more time because the 11 is now up. The referee will play on. And we don't get a goal between now and the final whistle. Extra time will be needed. Leeds with a free kick. Fernandez gives it away. alleviates all the West Ham pressure and gives Leeds a set piece. And I have to say, VAR, I think genuinely, and I would never say this, they wouldn't do that, but I think VAR, and a little bit in the back of the mind of the VAR, he's like, I am not going to disallow this, because I'll never be allowed back near East London again. Never. And it would have really ruined the moment, but yeah, it's a fabulous goal. Fine margins, and that's what it comes down to. Gruyev with his free kick for Leeds. Is there one last gasp chance for either of these two at the end here? Gruyev whips it in. Header by Calvert-Lewin. Right down the throat of the goalkeeper. Areola, who launches one with his arm. Down the left channel it comes. A wrestle between Aronson and Diouf. Diouf comes away as he was brought down. It's actually going to be Aronson who was fouled by Diouf initially, and that's going to be a Leeds free kick. Jack says that high challenge, you think it should have standed for the goal. I mean, high boot is hard to kind of legislate, because high boot in so many different scenarios can be given so many different ways. I mean, some see it as a 100% a foul no matter what, because it's dangerous. Some say it is if you make contact it's a foul. Some say it if you make contact it's a red card. So there's a lot of disparity between that specific moment. But I just think, just let it happen. Let football play on. There's just some things you just don't need to re-referee. The referee didn't see an issue. Let's just play on. And the final whistle goes. Extra time it is. 30 more minutes, and I'm not complaining. 30 more minutes of this. Who is complaining? Leeds certainly are, because they were 2-0 up and are now going to extra time. Incredible. Dominic Calvert-Lewin with 15 minutes to go gave Leeds a 2-goal lead. Mateus Fernandes in the 93rd minute, the 3rd minute of 11 added, made it 2-1. Reignited something. And Axel Disasi in 96th minute made it 2-2. And we're heading to extra time. We'll join you for that in just a few minutes. Do stay with us. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a 4th, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to the Emirates FA Cup quarter-finals live here on LFS. Thank you very much for joining us for this one, and we're going all the way to extra time in this quarter-final. Our first quarter-final that's gone past the 90 minutes of this round, and no surprise, it was West Ham that will be taking us there, because each of their FA Cup ties have gone at least to extra time. Their last one went all the way to penalties against Brentford, and they progressed through that. Well, extra time beckons, and I genuinely I'm sitting here wondering, going, how are we here? How are we here? Genuinely, I'm in disbelief. West Ham were out. Leeds were home and hosed. It was over until it wasn't. And Axel Disasi, after Mateus Fernandes, clawed them all the way back. Extra time awaits. I can't believe this. If there's ever a game, if you ever lost your love for the FA Cup, this is exactly why it is one of the best competitions on the planet, because it is so unpredictable. When you think you're done and dusted, and I think I made a point. I don't want to say I'm Houdini all of a sudden, or I'm kind of Nostradamus and predicting the future, but I said 2-0, and I said, you never know with West Ham. Leeds had chances to make it 3-0, and they didn't. And that sometimes is the swinging of momentum in games like this. You might not know it at the time, but it has come back and haunted Leeds. It has come back and bit them that they didn't add a third when they were on top after that second. And that really would have put West Ham to the sword. But I said it 2-0. You never know. And you really never know. Now we do know. Extra time is needed, at least. Another 30 minutes to see if we can separate them to find a winner. I think we just need to reset a little bit here. Take a drink, settle down, more of this to come. Andy says you were ready to finish the stream and get a cup of tea, and now 5 minutes in extra time, change it all. 100%, I was ready to open an Easter egg there. You're ready to get settled down with an Easter egg, but no. They said, not yet. We're not finished yet. Thankfully not, because I absolutely adore, I mean, other than the City-Liverpool game, for obvious reasons, but the other FA Cup ties, I've loved it. It's been fabulous this weekend. Fabulous, and I can't wait for 3 weeks' time when 2 matches at Wembley to decide who will go to the final. I love this. Absolutely love it. We are back underway. Extra time off and running. Leeds get us going. In a extra time they didn't think in their wildest dreams was coming when Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored that penalty in the 75th minute. I don't think anybody inside this stadium thought extra time was on the cards at that point. But I say, oh, what has Perry done here? Castellanos! Oh, it's gone in! Oh, wow! Oh, this is absolutely unbelievable stuff! West Ham lead! Can you believe it? Oh my God! What has Lucas Perry done? What have Leeds United done? Oh my goodness me! I can't believe this! What on earth? What is this? Oh, is Castellanos offside though? Ah, no! Don't do that! Is Castellanos impacting play? Because if he's impacting play, as they deem him impacting play, then he will be offside. We disallowed. But if he's not, and Lucas Perry heads that, and he meant to head it, that resets, surely he can't be offside. But I think they're going to rule it out. Ah! I mean, I'm sounding like a West Ham fan all of a sudden here. I'm just a real football romantic. I can't believe this. Well, Craig Pawson didn't deny a goal earlier. He's got to do it now, but back to 2-2. I mean, Leeds are one hell of a lucky bunch right now. One hell of a lucky bunch that Castellanos was a half-yard offside, because if he wasn't, they would have been on the end of an unbelievable collapse. I mean, he's not too far away. I mean, he's half a body shape offside. It is so tight. Clear from that angle, but tight from the wide angle, and my goodness. Oh my God. This is mental. But Leeds, it looks like their heads have completely gone. They're gone. We need to regain it somehow. They've got a ball here. Bogle down the right-hand side. Charging into the box. Jayden Bogle across. Flicked away by Walker-Peters. Justin off the line. Still alive. Something here. Gnonto strikes it wide. Oh my goodness. What is this game? What is this game? Daniel Farker cannot believe it. Jayden Bogle does really well here. Gets into an angle, cuts it across. Walker-Peters with a flick. James Justin has the strike. And then it's ping-pong around the West Ham box. And somehow it drops to Gnonto, who completely off balance strikes it well wide. But, I mean, Leeds United. Cursed. How has that not gone in? Oh my God. Oh. We're only 3 minutes into extra time. We've still got 27 minutes to go of extra time. I don't believe this. This is the most mental end to a game I've ever seen. Ever. Definitely this season. Wow. Remains 2-2 somehow. After both sides with gilt-edged opportunities at the start of the extra time. Somehow it's still 2-2. As West Ham will get the throw there. Leeds trying to clear it. And they cleared it out of play. West Ham throw in the Leeds half. Usually extra time's quite boring, but it's been quite the opposite here so far. That's the Adama Traore. Oh, it's dropped for Walker-Peters. Walker-Peters across. Right down the throat of the goalkeeper of Perry. Yeah, Walker-Peters did well there. Again, if these players aren't knackered now, they will be tomorrow. I'm telling you. Leeds don't play the next Monday. West Ham play on Friday night. They will be exhausted come tomorrow. Surely they'll get tomorrow off, both of these two teams, no matter what happens, because they're all up. It's been end-to-end the whole way through. I mean, this has been a crazy game for a long time, but it's definitely ended mental here. Justin, Gnonto slips, but he comes away with the ball still as he gets back to his feet and reverses into the box. It's West Ham clear. Stroik. Gruyev. Leeds just need to reassert a bit of calmness. The more chaos, the better for West Ham. At this moment, it seems. Ball in behind. Flicked back across. Comfortably gathered by Areola, but Bogle's a threat here for Leeds. Created two good chances so far. Traore down the touchline. Somehow stayed in there. Helped out by Pablo was Traore there as West Ham keep the ball. So check to Tisasi. Back to Walker-Peters. Lovely flick ball in behind. Leeds trying the ball in behind now. Wilfred Gnonto. Guided well by Areola, who's calm and collected. I mean, this is mental. Dalaman says, I'm in support of Leeds because my club got beaten in FA Cup by Macclesfield Town. Well, whoever you support, this has been an unbelievable end to this FA Cup quarter-final. Unbelievable. Whether you're a neutral or not, I certainly am, but oh, wow. How electric this game has been to the dying embers. A reminder for you, we've got the FA Cup semi-final draw to come after this. That's what we were getting ready for, to see who would play who in the semis, but have to wait till this game is concluded to do that. We don't know who will play who yet. Dalaman says in there, does this mean Leeds play Southampton? We don't know who will play who until the draw is done. Now, the first time this season it's actually happened, because usually the draw has been done before the final game of the round, before kickoff, but not this time. They've waited till all quarterfinals are done to do the semi-final draw this time. Here's Gruyev for Leeds. Struck it well wide as he entered the box there. But we will find out the draw shortly after the final whistle of this game, however long that takes, but shortly after the final whistle. It was said about 15 minutes after the final whistle, around about that, whenever that is. Flick ball over the top here, Matej Fernandez, who started to come back. He's in behind here. Fernandez gets it across. Castellanos, big save by Perry. Big save. Point blank range, made the save. Needed to. West Ham on the charge again. Out the left it comes. Diouf in behind. Adama Traore trying to clip it back. Deflection. And it hasn't gone off over the line. Traore kept it in. Diouf. Back to Kilman. Malik Diouf. Leeds trying to get involved there. Brendan Aronson with the tackle, but it will be a West Ham throw as we see this big shot again. Castellanos. Yeah, come off the left cheek of Lucas Berry. He saved it with his head from Tati Castellanos there. Well, look at Danny Dyer beaming from ear to ear. He was one of the dejected West Ham fans a little earlier. I'm sure he can't even believe his eyes. I don't know how that feels for a West Ham fan right now, being so dejected at 90 minutes, thinking our chance are we've got all the way here and we haven't been able to get it done. Long ball over the top here from Areola. Oh, Leeds don't defend it well here. Little bit loose. Jared Bowen hit the post again. It's followed up and in. Flags up though. Pablo's put it in, but flags up. The second time Jared Bowen has hit the post, and a rebound struck into the back of the net by a West Ham player. The first counted to create the comeback, and Pablo is offside. He is a good yard or two offside, but my goodness. The way he readjusts and gets this strike. Oh, Nuno. Twice in extra time, West Ham would be denied a third goal. Both correct, by the way. Danny Dyer went nuts. And then didn't go nuts. I'm loving this. The heartbreak of a flag going up after a magic moment. I mean, he's completely right. He was offside, but doesn't make it any easier. There's a ball in behind as Bowen stayed onside. He's all on his own here. Jared Bowen trying to work a shot, trying to direct it. Struck it wide. Is the flag up for offside? Oh, it took a touch off the back heel of James Justin. That should be a corner if it was onside. I think it's offside, I think, actually, against Jared Bowen. It is. Wow. Gruyev. Strike. Across the B-Yall. Clipped that there by Pablo. That's going to be a free kick. 2 minutes to go in this first half of extra time. Arguably, the first half of extra time has been more mental than the whole 90 minutes. But somehow, neither side have found the net. West Ham have had it in the back of the net twice. Both disallowed for offside. And Leeds have had a ping-pong moment in the West Ham area that didn't find the net. I mean, it's been mental. Mental. You gotta love football, though. You gotta love it. Leeds free kick here in the West Ham half. Swung in with the right foot and comfortably into the hands of Areola, who was confident. So he lets it out to his midfield. Drops for Kyle Walker-Peters on the right side here. There is 8 Leeds players behind the ball here in their own half. Everybody flooded back for Leeds. That's 30 seconds for the first half of extra time. I think there'll be added time on top of that as Nonto was shoved over by Bowen. Leeds not waiting around. Justin guided it into midfield. Finds Brendan Aronson, who's been quite quiet in the game so far. Out wide to Bogle. Trying to twist and turn his way past his man in Diouf, but run into Diouf in the end. Too much twisting and turning. Now here's Adama Traore. He twists away from Strauch. And away from Ampadu. And Traore drifting away. Skidding it into the path of Diouf, who struck it well behind, but got an absolute cracker of a shot on it. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half of extra time. Beautiful from Adama Traore, though. Malik Diouf with a fierce effort, but well off target. I agree, Andy. Andy says, I hope West Ham or Leeds get Southampton to keep the magic of the FA Cup alive. I remember when Wimbledon winning it, that was a surprise. Yeah, you want to see these teams, you know. You don't want to see, no disrespect, but Man City and Chelsea will be the favourites to progress from their semi-finals, no matter who they play, unless they play each other, obviously. That's no disrespect to Southampton, West Ham or Leeds, but the expectation would be that that would happen if they avoid each other in the semi-final, City and Chelsea. But if they get each other, it would set up Southampton facing West Ham or Leeds, which would create a great semi-final, and one of those teams that aren't the top teams that are always in and around semi-finals and finals, getting into one of those positions. West Ham haven't been there since 2006. Leeds haven't been in a final in God knows how long. Southampton, when were they last in an FA Cup final? So it's been a long time coming for those teams, and it will be really lovely to see one of them in an FA Cup final, guaranteed. And that can happen if Chelsea and City get each other in the semi-final draw. Yellow card for Kyle Walker-Peters for a pull on Willie Nonto. He's down himself there, Kyle Walker-Peters, with a bit of cramp, I think. But free kick to Leeds. Last seconds of the first half of extra time. It's crazy how we still have another 15 minutes at least to go in this extra time. James Justin over this free kick. It's in a decent area. Wide on the left. 20 yards from the byline, so it's good angle to fizz it, but he could also go direct if he feels confident. James Justin. One audacious effort to take, though. Right for the delivery. It's deep by Justin. All the way behind for a goal kick. Talk about anticlimactic. Half time and extra time it is then. 15 minutes at least to go. And neither side could be separated. We are no closer to finding a winner. Back for the second half of extra time in just a second. Do stay with us. Welcome back to FA Cup Live here on this Easter Sunday, as we're into the half-time and extra time of our final quarter-final. West Ham 2, Leeds United 2. Leeds were 2 up going into the final 15 minutes, into the final, 8 minutes of all, into the 93rd minute. Matej Fernandes got one back for West Ham, and then Axel Disasi completed the comeback to find the equaliser to make it 2-2 in the 96th. And now, extra time has been mental too. 17 minutes we've played, and there's been chances at both ends, mental opportunities. West Ham have had the ball in the net twice, disallowed twice. One after VAR and one from a direct flag from the officials. But this is mental. This is just unbelievable. Whatever happens between now and the end of this game, it's been a thoroughly enjoyable match, no doubt. And I have to say, the players have run as best as they can, I have to say. Jared Bowen giving his team a bit of a talk as Danny Dyer having a little sing-song in the stands with his grandson, I think that is. Jared Bowen's son, of course. Very clear the links between Danny Dyer and Jared Bowen. Father-in-law, son-in-law. And look at this. Freed from desire. Of course, the Jared Bowen song here. And they're bouncing. What a contrast. Well, there's a picture of just outside the West Ham Stadium of fans who left and can't get back in now. They aren't allowed back in. But you have to say, look, I have no time. And listen, they're 2-0 down. There's minutes to go. It's Easter Sunday. They probably want to get home. It's a Sunday afternoon. But you never, ever rule anyone out. Never rule your team out. Never ever think it's over. It's not over till the final whistle goes. You have to know that. West Ham are going to make some changes here at the half-time and extra time. They've only made 2 subs, by the way, West Ham. Leeds have made all 5. They still have one more because we're in extra time. You get the extra one. But West Ham have 4 subs left to use if they want to use them. I love it. I absolutely love it. By the way, the changes. Ollie Scarles is on for West Ham. And I'm not too sure who else came on there for West Ham, but they made a double change. And Leeds have also made a change of their own. I said they still had one more to come. And they have made that as well, Leeds. We'll tell you about that in a moment. As we get back on the way in extra time, 15 minutes to go, at least, to decide a winner, to see who will take the final spot in the Wembley semi-finals of this season's FA Cup. Man City, Chelsea, And Southampton are all there. Will it be West Ham or Leeds who will join them? The 106th minute. And we're locked at 2-2. Oli Scarlett and Mohamedou Conte came on for Tati Castellanos and El Hadji Malik Diouf for West Ham. And Joel Pirout is on for Leeds. Their 6th and final sub. Here come Leeds. Deep ball there from James Justin. Scooped wide. Well, a very quiet away end night. Very different away end than it was 10 minutes before the final whistle in normal time. 5 minutes before the final whistle in normal time. We need a breather. This has been gasping the whole way through this extra time. And ever since the 90th minute, it's been relentless. Here's Adama Traore. Both sides attacking the ends of which they scored in the second half of normal time. In this second period, of extra time. The end of which the 2 goals for West Ham came to get them to extra time. Is where they will attack here for the final 12-13 minutes of extra time. Yakabi all under pressure. Not much pressure. He was caught late after the ball had cleared by Pablo, I think that was, giving away the foul, and it is a free kick to Leeds. I would love a penny for his thoughts, Daniel Farke. What on earth must he be thinking right now? His team were there. All he needed to do was hold on. Probably all they needed to do was find a 3rd goal, and it really would have been dead and buried, but goodness. How different this could have been. We would have been finished by now. Undoubtedly, if Leeds had found a 3rd goal when they were on top. But they didn't. That's why we're here. Albeit. As West Ham will get a free kick there. Brendan Aronson with a late tackle in the final 3rd. I'd say I'm absolutely exhausted now. Thank you all for joining us, by the way. I can't forget that. Thank you all for spending your Easter Sunday. If you celebrate, of course, got to caveat that, but thank you very much all for joining us, spending your Sunday with us for this FA Cup quarter-final. It's been great to have your company to this point. Let's hope for more magical moments between now and the end of this game. Traore over the top, looking for the run of Conte, who's just on the field. And Leeds trying to clear it as far up the pitch as they can, but it was out of play for a throw, which Oli Scarlett takes. So Czech loving it, moving it nicely. Scarlett in space. Now Fernandez pings one out to Bowen on the right side. Bowen, hit the woodwork twice, Jared Bowen. Bowen to Mohamedou Conte, sprung wide, out to Kyle Walker-Peters. Back to Fernandez, away by Strike. Strike from range there from Kilman. Ultimately seen away as he heads it in a tussle. West Ham can't keep it, but given away by Bornau. Scarlett picks up. Traore. Conte. Nice play from West Ham. Mohamedou Conte rides a challenge. Still going through. Mohamedou Conte. Struck it wide. Sliced it with the left foot. Did the hard bit. And the strike just left a lot to be desired from Mohamed Conte. Goal kick then for Leeds. Well, the question is, what do Leeds make of this? You know, what is better for them? Is it better just to hang out to try and get to penalties? Or is it, can they try and snatch a goal? Obviously, they would rather snatch a goal in extra time, but do you risk trying to get a goal in extra time and then completely collapsing and giving away a third to West Ham? Or do you just try and see it out and try and get their way to penalties and have the confidence in your penalties? It's an intriguing little scenario for Leeds right now. Here's Adama Traore. Ball drops to him in the Leeds half. Evading challenges as he was eventually brought down, but the referee said he got the ball. They're the Leeds man and Biol. And now here's Peru. Nicely cut out by Thomas Souček. This West Ham seem to have more energy, seem to have more belief, seem to just have everything in their favour at the minute. Leeds just look absolutely knackered, physically and mentally. Can you blame them? Mentally exhausting this game's been in the last 20 minutes. Ball flicked over the top, in behind. Pablo's got the ball. He's taken it down. He hasn't been able to convert, and Perry has to boot clear. That was far from convincing defensively from Leeds. I mean, 3 players there for Leeds, including their goalkeeper. And they scrambled it clear in the end. So dramatically. Mental. Traore. Fernandez. Disasi. Bowen. All the way back to Max Kilman's the only one back for West Ham. Obviously by the goalkeeper. Scarles down the left channel. Finds Traore. Gets past Nonto before Nonto gets a little nick in there and clears it out for the throw. You can barely believe and barely take it, those West Ham fans. Nerves. Long kick from Disasi. Headed away by Bornau. Dropped in the midfield for Fernandez. Flicked on a Souček who miscued his pass, but real battle. Conte picks it up. Dropping everywhere here at the minute. Drops for Adama Traore on the left. He's cross, deflected off Bornau, right back to his goalkeeper. Not much power on it in the end anyway. Lovely ball by Leeds though. Brendan Aronson takes it towards Kyle Walker-Peters down this left side and has to reverse back. Gruyev to Ampadu now. Justin, who's gone very high up the field, James Justin, I have to say. Brendan Aronson. Whip across in. Oh! Had Areola flapping at it and it just escaped. Areola's in a bit of trouble here, which is a worry for West Ham. Brendan Aronson here, this cross kind of swung back and had Areola very worried. And he's hurt himself here, Alphonse Areola. Whether it's just cramp or what, but remember, if we go to penalties, West Ham kind of need their goalkeeper. And they don't have Lucas Fabianski, who's usually the backup. He's injured. Their backup goalkeeper is Finlay Herrick, 20 years old. The goalkeeper seemingly has cramp here, Alphonse Areola. That seems to be what's happened. I've never seen that before. A keeper with cramp. Never in my life have I ever seen that. I know he's been worked hard, Areola, but my goodness, he's not been worked that hard. I mean, Finlay Herrick. It could be a magic moment for him if Areola can't continue. I have to say, he's still having to be treated here by his teammates. And they've brought on the physio, so this is just kind of taking the sting out of this. Areola. Matesh Fernandez and... Well, they're getting him ready. He's getting ready, Finlay Herrick. Getting some words from Freddie Potts. There, Finlay Herrick, as he gets himself ready. And Areola's still being treated here. It's his right leg. No Lucas Fabianski, no Mads Hermansson. I mean, he's ready and waiting if he needs to be called upon. I mean, I have to say, Callum Wilson, who's injured, or is not involved, and he's behind the bench and he's shaking a chair, saying, "Come on!" They're trying to buoy him up. And it looks like they are going to need him here. They're trying to get him ready. I mean, this would be just another twist in this tale. It's been absolutely friggin' mental. They're trying to get him locked in. They're trying to get him ready. Well, maybe he is ready. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on the bench. 20 years old. Finlay Herrick. To put this into context, the last time West Ham were in an FA Cup semi-final, Finlay Herrick was 4 months old. 4 months old. We see this. It all comes from Brendan Aronson's cross. It just beats Areola and maybe just stretches his leg. He kind of jumps up, full stretch, and then kind of lands awkwardly, I think, Areola. He's on his feet again. I mean, his shin pads are off. He can't really walk, so I don't think he's going to continue. I think he is coming on. I mean, we wait to see, but I think he's coming on here. Alphonse Areola, I don't think can continue. Applause from the crowd, but Finn Herrick, 20 years old, a goalkeeper in an FA Cup quarter-final to make his first team debut for the club. He played for Boreham Wood on loan at the start of the season. He was recalled to the under-21s. And his last appearance was against Wimbledon in the EFL Trophy knockouts. West Ham lost that 4-2, but he had an unbelievable game, Finn Herrick, where Wimbledon had 26 shots. And he made 6 saves in that game. And he's on in the, the 120th minute of this FA Cup quarter-final. I mean, what? 120 minutes is up. We're going to play at least another 4 here, at least. 3 or 4. And Finn Herrick with his first kick as a West Ham first team player finds its way to Adama Traore. A debutant between the sticks, 5 added minutes at the end of extra time. Oh, wow. Wow. Magic. Magic. Calvert-Lewin couldn't find a ball through there, and Finn Herrick is there. And he might be on his debut, but he's got the dark arts to down to a T there. I mean, his head must be absolutely scrambled. What a moment. Kick over the top by Disassi, but that's going to come all the way through to Lucas Perry. Who knows? If this goes to penalties, Finn Herrick, in the first minutes of his West Ham first team career, could be in a penalty shootout in a quarter-final. Unbelievable. Free kick here. Mohamed Kante was fouled for West Ham, so free kick to the Hammers up the field. 3.5 minutes of extra time to go. As Omar says, do you think it's going to pens? Well, at this rate, with the sting being taken out of the game with the injury to Areola, who knows? I mean, one moment can come from nothing. Tired legs, tired minds, and extra time. Kante! Oh, snuck in behind, and Lucas Perry had to make the save, but he made the run off the free kick, got in behind Ampadu, and then the bounce beat out Jakobijal, and didn't beat out Lucas Perry, who was there, but here comes Joel Peru for Leeds. Peru headed away by Scarles. Header didn't get clear. Ampadu up and away. Ampadu still holding it. Justin leaves it back to Ethan Ampadu, who had it nicked away from him. And Mohamedou Kante breaks it apart and tries to feed through Adama Traore. He's got Sebastian Bornau, who covered it over well. Wanted a foul, not given, and Traore's gone down. So he got an issue. Yeah, lovely. From West Ham, and he's desperate to go there, Adama Traore. Sebastian Bornau had him covered just about. Might have just hurt himself as he dropped to the ground there. Traore. I mean, this is genuinely the most bizarre end to an FA Cup game I've ever seen. Genuinely, in my lifetime. Danny Dyer watches on from his box. Fans who left when West Ham were 2-0 down in normal time. Oh, Pablo in behind. Last ditch tackle. And clearance didn't go very far, and then the chest from Souček bounced out for a goal kick. The fans who left in normal time are outside of the London Stadium. Now, quite a few came back in because they hadn't left the stadium yet, and came back to their seats, but quite a lot of them didn't, and were already outside the stadium, and are having to watch it, or at least listen to what's happening from outside the stadium. Well, Adama Traore's put in a hell of a shift, and he's going to have to come off here. Ezra Myers is going to be coming on. It's been a real physical battle between these two today, and a lot of players have had a lot to give. And they've given their all, and the final substitution of the game is made for either team. So these are the teams. If it is going to penalties, these will be the 11s to take it to spot kicks. Lucas Perry with a long kick here. Flick on by Calvert-Lewin. Souček not very far as Gruyev brings it down the left channel. Gruyev trying to get the cross, blocked by Walker-Peters, still alive as Leeds try and scramble it into the area. Disassi clears. Pablo flicks it on. Bowen couldn't get much on it, but West Ham will get the throw. But no time to take it. Penalties it is. Penalty shootout to decide the winner at the London Stadium. And debutant for West Ham, Finn Herrick, will make his possible first save, could be in a penalty shootout. Finn Herrick. The magic of the FA Cup continues. Penalties it is. What an incredible FA Cup tie we've had. And we're going to go all the distance. Penalties on the way next. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to the FA Cup Live here in LFS for the final quarter-final. I was just taking on some sweets there. Give myself some energy ready for the penalties here. Unbelievable what we're seeing here right now. This is unbelievable what we're witnessing right now. Penalties is how West Ham got to this stage when they beat Brentford at the London Stadium in round 5. And it's penalties that will be the decider against Leeds, another Premier League opponent for West Ham, to see who will be going to Wembley for the semi-final. The two captains, Ethan Ampadu and Jared Bowen, to do the coin toss with referee Craig Pawson. What side will the penalties be taken at? That's what's being drawn now. And it will be at the West Ham end, I think. And we'll see who will take first. And Leeds are going to go first, it looks like there. I think Ethan Ampadu said first, unless my lip reading has got very bad. But it looks like West Ham will have their fans at that end. But they will be... the Leeds will be taking first. And Finn Herrick will look to face, I think, the first penalty of this shootout, if my lip reading was perfect. I can't believe this. This has been absolutely exhilarating from start to finish. As the assistant, one of the assistant referees, talks to both goalkeepers, Lucas Perry and Finn Herrick. It's all down to spot kicks to decide our final semi-finalist of the 2025-26 FA Cup. And I want to just keep Finn Herrick's stats sheet up on my screen, because it could be him that's the story. And they're off and running. So, penalties it is. Leeds going to go first. It's Joel Piroux for Leeds United up against Finn Herrick on his West Ham debut. 20 years old. To face the first penalty of this shootout in an FA Cup quarter-final. Piroux against Herrick. Herrick's trying to put him off. Joel Peru takes a little run up. Peru, saved by Herrick! Oh wow! First one he's ever taken against him in West Ham colours for the senior team, and he saves it. Fabulous. Poor penalty from Joel Peru. It's absolutely woeful. But Finn Herrick had to make the save, and he did. Oh wow. Celebrates, and rightfully so. That's incredible. Incredible. Now, West Ham going second. Now it's their chance to respond. Jared Bowen, the captain, he's hit the post twice. Danny Dyer, both Danny Dyers watch on. Father-in-law and wife of Jared Bowen. To try and take the first West Ham penalty. Saved by Lucas Perry. Both sides have missed their first penalties. 0-0 after one apiece. What a straight. I'm telling you, this is mental. Poor penalty from Jared Bowen. Not like him. Not like him. It's just not been his day, really, in front of goal, Jared Bowen. That's very rare to say. So on to their second, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who scored against the West Ham goalkeeper already from the spot. But it's a very different one now. Finn Herrick. Saved his first. Can he do it again? Dominic Calvert-Lewin to be the first to try and score a penalty in this shootout. Oh, lovely penalty. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores. Leeds do strike first in the shootout. And he dived the right way there, Herrick, but the quality of the penalty was just too good. Really hard to save that one. Beautiful penalty by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Leeds are off the mark. Now, Kyle Walker-Peters is going to step up. West Ham one down in the shootout. This is their second penalty. Nuno sits on the bench to watch. He can't bear to look. Too much pressure. Kyle Walker-Peters to tie things up in the shootout after two penalties apiece for West Ham. Bowen missed the first for the Hammers. Can number two, with penalty number two, give West Ham their first penalty. Against Lucas Perry, Kyle Walker-Peters makes it 1-1. Beautiful penalty. Perry went the wrong way. And Walker-Peters struck it into the far corner. 1-1 after two apiece. Both missed their first penalties. Both have scored their second penalties. Now to Leeds' third spot kick of the shootout. Brendan Aronson, the American international. I have to say, came on quite early in the game for Anton Stack, who was injured. Been very quiet, but he's got a crucial penalty now to give Leeds the lead again in the shootout against Finn Herrick. Saved one and conceded one, Finn Herrick. Brendan Aronson scores. Herrick went the wrong way. Aronson, cool, calm, collected, slots it 2-1. Leeds in front again. Yeah, he does well. Struck it in the far corner. Be hard to save that one. Some of the old boys up there in the stands watching on from the little screen they're given. Thomas Souček. Well, in the international break, his country were very involved in quite a few big penalty shootouts to get to the World Cup. They are going to the World Cup, Czechia. Can Thomas Souček score in a shootout to tie things up for West Ham again after three penalties apiece? Thomas Souček scores! 2-2! Beautiful penalty. Perry dived the wrong way again. But the fierceness of that strike from Thomas Souček. Great quality penalty. Far corner. Lovely. So 2-2 after three apiece. Leeds will take their fourth, looking for a lead for the third time in the shootout. Wilfred Gnonto is up next. Leeds' fourth penalty to get them in front in the shootout again. Can Leeds keep piling the pressure on West Ham? Finn Herrick's been talking to everyone who's come up against them to take penalties so far. Gnonto the latest. Wilfred Gnonto! Oh, beautiful penalty. Best of the lot. Best of the lot so far. 3-2 Leeds. Again, he went the right way, Herrick. But again, the quality of the penalty was just too good. He said he was close. He wasn't too far away, he said there. Finn Herrick. I can't argue with him, but the quality of the penalty was just too good that time. Pablo to try and tie it up for the Hammers. He scored in extra time, or well, at least he thought he scored in extra time before he was offside and disallowed it, to make it 3-3 in the shootout after 4 apiece for West Ham. Pablo against Perry. Pablo, saved by Perry. 3-2 Leeds after 4 apiece. One more and they're through. Perry with a big save. And it's advantage Leeds. It's really scoring you through to the semi-finals. That's what it comes down to. 20-year-old Finn Herrick has to save this, or Leeds have to miss to keep West Ham in the shootout. And then they have to score their 5th penalty, obviously, to tie it up. The 5th penalty for Leeds. Pascal Struijk against Finn Herrick. Struijk scores and they're through. Herrick saves or Struijk misses. West Ham will have a chance. Struijk scores and Leeds are into the semi-final. Struijk scores! Oh, what a penalty! Leeds United are through. West Ham are out, despite their major comeback to get them to this point. Leeds make it hard on themselves, but they find a way to get through. Their goalkeeper with 2 huge saves in the shootout against Jared Bowen and Pablo is what carries Leeds to the semi-finals for the first time in 39 years. Leeds are into the FA Cup semi-finals. First time since 1987. They did it the hard way. They were 2-0 up going into added time in normal time. We went all the way through to extra time and to penalties, and to the very last penalty for Leeds, their 5th one, scored by Struijk, that sends Leeds through to the semi-finals. Heartbreak for West Ham again, who thought they were dead and buried after 90 minutes. They fought back to 2-2 to get it to extra time and then penalties. Jared Bowen missed his first. Both sides missed their first penalties. But Leeds were perfect then throughout. West Ham missed another, which cost them. And Leeds going first meant they could put it to bed. Leeds win 4-2 in the shootout after a 2-all draw. Leeds will be the 4th and final semi-finalist. Beautiful from Pascal Struijk. What a penalty to decide it by Struijk. Leeds are into the final 4. West Ham are out. And heartbreak for the Hammers. Probably for the 2nd time in one game. Can you believe it? And breathe. And breathe indeed. What an FA Cup tie. What an incredible game. Mental it was. Absolutely mental. And in 3 weeks' time, Leeds will be going to Wembley. Southampton will be going to Wembley. Chelsea will be going to Wembley. And Manchester City will be going to Wembley. Who will face who, we'll find out very shortly. But we know who the final 4 are. Leeds, Southampton, Chelsea and Manchester City are our semi-finalists. After a 2-all draw after 120 minutes, Leeds won 4-2 in the shootouts. And let's just confirm all 4 quarter-final results then for you before we leave you. Man City 4-0 winners against Liverpool to start off the weekend. That feels like a lifetime ago. Chelsea won 7-0 against League One Port Vale yesterday afternoon. Southampton caused the shock of the round when they knocked out Arsenal 2-1 at St Mary's. And Leeds United, despite being 2-0 up, going into added time and normal time, West Ham clawed all the way back. They took it all the way to penalties, but Leeds came out on top in the shootout, winning by 4 penalties to 2 to decide it. Well, that's what's coming tomorrow. Portsmouth take on Oxford in the Championship tomorrow in a relegation battle. But in terms of the FA Cup, the semi-finals will take place in 3 weeks' time. Saturday the 25th and Sunday the 26th of April. The dates for the diary. And we will have the draw. Results of the draw for the semi-finals that will be taking place very shortly to see who will face who. Leeds, Southampton, Chelsea and Man City are your semi-finalists. What a cracking weekend. What a chaotic weekend of FA Cup action. Thank you very much for joining us all the way through if you have. Thank you for joining us on this Easter Sunday. And it's been one hell of a game to entertain us. Thank you for your company. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.